some 54,975,670 Kenya shillings in the current financial year to the contractor, which was the allocation for the project this financial year, and has received a commitment from the contractor on the resumption of the works as efforts are made to settle the remainder of his payment as soon as necessary. So, honorable members, again, we're working around the clock to raise funds through securitization. We will then come to this house for voting or allowing us to spend that money once we receive, and ensure that we get back all contractors back to work. Bending bills is a big issue, and like I said, and I reiterate again and again, it is our top priority, and we are working on that. In fact, I did chair a meeting at 7 o'clock this morning to look at the timelines on when we can walk, and we're beginning to see the end of the runway with respect to how we can resolve this challenge. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker, for the opportunity once again. Indeed, what the Minister has captured is true that this road began in 2016. The Speaker has well captured this road has been assigned twice to contractors who vacated sites. And as you know, that a road under development or construction cannot be maintained under the normal maintenance, meaning that today that road is impassable. That road is orphaned, Mr. Speaker. I would wish the Cabinet Secretary to help us understand what remedies we are putting in place to ensure that this road is motorable. As we speak today, it is true that China, the contractor was back some 2 weeks ago to put the pipes, the culverts. But the road is impassable and cannot be accessed. Mr. Speaker, that road that we're talking about touches Luanda constituency, goes through Seme, all the way to Rarieda. It is a very important corridor for the people of Luanda and the Western Circuit. So the Minister would really be kind, if the Minister would be kind to tell us what strategies he's put in place to ensure that this road is passable. I'm sure he has some emergency funds under the 10% CS allocation, which can cater for that, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
As the honorable member said, my colleague has said, this road, 2016 up to now, has been assigned 3 times. First of all, it was a higher Bisansi, then Agrimax, and now China Railways. And Mr. Speaker, although the honorable minister is saying 54 million has been paid, the information I have, because I'm following this lady, the contractor actually says even with that, is not going back on site, particularly on the final bit towards Kalandini, 5 kilometers. In fact, Haya Bisansing kind of stuck on the first bit, which is a honorable member side, and is actually doing those culverts. And Mr. Speaker, if you look at the kind of work, last 2 months ago, I actually lost my temper. If you look at they're using some equipment that are being pulled by hand so that they can do the road. So I think, Honorable Minister, I think you need to actually take more keen. This road actually connects through Luanda Kutieno all the way to Mbita and actually all the way to Sori. So it's actually a very major road and it's stuck on this side. So can we really know, this 54 million was paid. Is this China Railways really going back to work? And is Haya Bisan Singh really able to complete the Maseno site? Thank you.
Thank you, honorable members. I did meet China Railway number 10 Engineering Group, and it is a company of capacity. Having met them to basically sensitize them on what we are doing to settle all the pending bills, and having paid the 54.9 million out of the 114 million outstanding, honorable members, let me undertake to ensure that this particular road, with this contractor that I said is a contractor with capacity to make the road motorable. I'll work on that. Between today and Friday, I'll have made the contractor to ensure this road is made motorable. And more importantly, because the contractors are beginning to see hope in what we are doing to pay the pending bills, ensure that they accelerate work because even then the outstanding, in spite of the fact that we owe them 3 billion in total on this particular road, having paid the 54.9 million, the outstanding about 50% of that, the same amount, we should be able to get them back to work. And I want to confirm, Dr. Nikal, that this contractor will get back to work. I'll work on that. Thank you.
Kajwang, then Makali.
Mr. Speaker, permit me to ride on this. This is the gateway to my rural home. If you come from Luanda, it is the only direct way through Uyoma in Rarieda constituency, and as you get to Beta through the ferry. So it is a very important road for which I am interested. Mr. Speaker, I listened to the Cabinet Secretary, and I'm sure that he's working on it. But this concept of assignment, I think let us now deal with the issue of principle first. Because as you hear, he is saying that there is a contractor who was on that road, then there was a subcontract to which it was assigned. We have had problems with this concept of assignment.
An assignment is not a subcontract?
Well, they understand it of course it is not, but they understand it in the roads ministry as a contract, as a subcontract. It is a contract. The question, Mr. Speaker, I'm asking is that these people who benefit from assignment, who are themselves independent contractors, and the ministry approves that in transaction between the main or the principal contract to the other, that is where the problem is. Because the first person has billed that bill 1, and that bill 1 is the most it is the most substantial part of the funds which would go into that road. When this other person to whom it is assigned takes the contract, the person basically he takes the contract with the terms and conditions, but there is no money with which the whole thing can be done. So this is the issue, that this second person definitely is not able to complete the road. So, Mr. Speaker, would the minister consider to determine the contract, to terminate the contract? The first contractor, in terms of principle, the first contractor, when he fails, the Bishan saying, they should have terminated that contract and then sought for a new contract in all its terms and conditions.
Are you challenging the validity of the assignment?
I am saying that the question in principle is what is a problem in finishing this road.
Okay.
Could the minister consider that instead of going this assignment principle, to terminate a contract and then re-advertise it and get new people under the terms and conditions that the ministry would approve? Thank you.
But Honorable Kajwang, if the members are interested in the road being completed quickly, is in an assignment faster than a retendering? Because a retendering will go another 1 year. An assignment is just a legal instrument, which as a good lawyer you know. But anyway, Makali. Okay. Give him.
Mr. Speaker, when this debate ensued, it came to my mind that probably going forward, the ministry should adopt a national policy that this assignment where a contractor lives for the other is really the problem that is hindering the completion of roads.
We hear you. Makali?
Thank you.
Take that.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to ask this supplementary question. Honorable Speaker, there is this road that links Kakamega County and Bungoma County. The Navaholo, Dorofu, Sangalo-Muskoma Road that was abandoned way back in 2017. His predecessor, I think, was in this house and assured us that they were going to advertise the road. The road was re-advertised. Can the cabinet secretary confirm to this house and the people of Kandui that one, the tendering process as a result of the re-advertisement is now complete, and when do we expect the contractor on the road so that I cease these endless visits to the office of the Director General and the anxiety the people who stay in that particular place are having, because that road has remained like that from 2017 and it's totally not motorable at all. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, honorable members. Let me take the concern on assignment of the road, which is basically the assignee, let me state, takes the full responsibility, including providing performance guarantee for the works that has been assigned. And why do we assign, honorable members? If we were to go through a tendering process, of course, we take time. But secondly, and more importantly, you want to maintain the old rates. You know that if a road was awarded in 2017, if you assign, we assign with the same terms. If we retender in 2024, it will come with the attendant cost of today. So there is merit in assigning where there is a contractor willing to be assigned. And like I said, with a company like China Railway Number 10 Engineering, they do have capacity. I did indicate that I had a meeting with them last week. I'm going to call them again. The outstanding amount of about 50 million is not much. I'll make sure we start with making the road motorable. A case in question, for example, is when we did this road from Kwale to Kenango to facilitate movements of the constituents to come to Mashujaa Day. And we did ask the contractor to make the road fast motorable so that as they do the road to pitment standard, the road is in very good moram condition. I will undertake to ensure that China Railway Number 10 makes this road all the way to Luanda motorable, first, and secondly, as an assignee with full responsibility and performance being assigned to them, do really finish the road now that we have a contractor, which I said is a contractor with capacity. And finally, we are equally working and ensuring that we pay all the pending bills in due course as we work together to support the securitization of the 7 shillings. With respect to Navukolo, Mheshimiwa Makali, I'm told the same has been completed, an intention of award, the tendering process, an intention of award issued, a letter of award has been, intention of award has been done, and subject to those number of days lapsing, the award should be done by 14th November 2024, which is tomorrow. Again, we will continue to pursue to ensure that the challenge that really runs across most of the counties we address, particularly through the securitization and ensuring that we pay the pending bills. Thank you.
Thank you. Basil.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to ask question 79 of 2024 to the CS Road and Transport. Can the CS explain why there has been significant delay in the completion of constructing Matuya Kalakara Kivandini Road to Chasioni Road in Yata constituency? Question number 2, can the CS provide an update on the expected timeline for the tamaking of the Katangi to Matu Road and the Ndalani to Makuyu Road? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to respond as follows. The upgrading to pitment standard and maintenance of Matu, Kalakala, Kakuku, and Junction A3, Kathulani, Junction C439 roads were awarded to Quito Civil Engineering and Company Limited on 24th February 2017. following competitive tendering process at a tender sum of 1.268 billion, and a performance-based routine maintenance of 130,363,027 Kenya shillings. The contract agreement was signed on 5th May 2017, and the contractor given the commencement order on 21st July 2017. The contract commenced on 19th August 2017, and the works were scheduled to be completed 30 months later, which should have been 19 February 2020, with a defect liability period of 12 months. However, the contractor demobilized and abandoned works, forcing the employer to subcontract the works to other contractors. The following is how the project was subcontracted and the progress so far. 8 kilometers of the 40 kilometers on Matu Ekalakala Kaguku section has been subcontracted to MS Daima Construction Limited to fast-track process. The subcontractor has completed up the first seal of the first 4 kilometers and has done 1.7 kilometers for second seal service dressing. So far, he has raised a certificate for payment and is awaiting to be paid to continue work. What we do, honorable members, we do segment the road into many segments, and as you finish the particular section and issue work certificate, upon inspection, you due for payment, but that is outstanding in line with the challenge that we have all talked about over and over again with bending bills. Another 12 kilometers, honorable members, of the 40 kilometers of work has been subcontracted to MS Uso Ngiro Contractors Limited. The contractor is working from 0 kilometers to 10 kilometers, junction C439 on Kiasioni section in accordance to provision of clause 4.1 of the condition of the contract. The subcontractor has completed the first seal service dressing for the first 4 kilometers of his section. On 30th July 2021, MS Sifel Construction Company was subcontracted 12 kilometers of Matue Kala road section from kilometer 8 to kilometer 20. The subcontractor has completed the first and second milestones up to the second seal service dressing. And on October, honorable members, 14, 2021, MS Kitho Civil Engineering Company Limited was instructed to reinstate the road section from 12 kilometers to 16 kilometers to its original state before he abandoned work. After completion of the reinstatement, MS Kitho was then allowed to complete the road section on 12 November 2021 up to a blacktop or tarmac as per the contract. The main purpose of this process was to fast-track the work progress. The contractor has managed to complete 4 kilometers of the blacktop on the first seal dressing. On 7th December 2021, Litho Supplies and General Traders Limited was awarded the subcontract for 8 kilometer Kalakala to Kaguku section. Currently is ongoing with earthworks, and he has managed to complete about 2.5 kilometers of top subgrade. The subcontractor has also done a cross culvert within the first 2 kilometers. To date, honorable members, 79 months, 263% of the contract has elapsed against an overall progress of approximately 54.3%. Currently, Speaker, honorable members, there are no plans for tarmacking Katangi to Matu Road and the Ndalani to Makuyu Road due to insufficient budgetary allocation. However, there are plans for routine maintenance and spot improvement. The allocation for CP Muranga, Kisiki, Ndalani, Sophia Road in the financial year 24-25 is Kenya shillings 6,816,949, and for Matu, Kathiuni, Igombe, Katangi Road is 12,268,999. 9, respectively. Those are the amounts which are available for maintenance in the printed estimates 2024-25. Thank you, honorable members.
Basil? Give him the mic.
Thank you, CS, for the response. If you look at the road from Matu to Ekalakala, there are so many potholes, yet the road has never been completed. So we ask, why did the engineers, were there poor quality supervision on the road? Number 2, there are several Maram Ips that have been left between Kivandini to Chasioni Road, making motorists not be able to use the road. Number 3, they skipped Mbembani to Kivingoni Market, that section which is within Yata constituency, and actually my constituents have been asking why was it skipped, and so many local suppliers were never paid. So we request the CS to look into that and to respond. Thank you.
Thank you. Women Rep Tarakaniti? Give her the mic. You are assigning the wrong person. There you are.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, my question goes to an issue that is so disturbing, an issue that is disturbing the people of the Tharaka-Nithi County, the neighboring counties, the entire country and the world. The Kila Nithi Bridge. Mr. Speaker, Andrew does a month ago without the people of the Tharaka-Nithi and the entire country burying their relatives from the Nithi Kila Bridge. Mr. Speaker, sir, many have acquired disabilities from the Kila Bridge. And that's why, Mr. Speaker, I'm asking the minister, what action has the ministry undertaken or is undertaking towards redesign, rerouting, or erection of permanent accident arrest interventions at the Nithi Bridge black spot? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Mutunga again. Let me give people who have not asked Mutunga.
Thank you,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have several roads in Tigania West, and none of them has works going on. Mr. Speaker, I do not want to speak about St. Anne, Kagaene, Myompon, because I want a meeting with the minister. But Mr. Speaker, my desperation is that the capture of this road has always been avoided. I would like the minister to know that I have written, I have talked to the ends of the institutions, and they do not capture these roads. Mr. Speaker, during the last state visit, Kera in his wisdom scrapped the tarmac of one road because of the potholes and on the fear that the end of state will pass on that road. Up to now, there is no center allocated to that road. It's not in the books. Mr. Speaker, there's another road from Kiajai to Isiolo.
You are making a speech. Ask a
Mr. Speaker, what I would like the minister to tell us, when we went to health, to energy, he had a very clear way of rationalizing. We would like to know whether this rationalization formula is going to be operated on or rather utilized in the Ministry of Roads and Transport. Because, Mr. Speaker, what we have is total discrepancy in terms of allocation of resources in the roads. You realize that some constituencies have no roads, while others have got 7 or 8 roads. So there is a problem in this country, and we need that problem solved. What is the promise of the minister? Again, is a road that
Order Mutunga.
Mr. Speaker, let me explain this particular one.
Let him finish. Give him to finish.
Mr. Speaker, there is a road which I forced upgrading. I went to the National Roads Committee Convention, National National Roads Board Convention, and they pushed for movement of a road from Kera to Kena. In other words, to be in Kena. That road has not yet been gazetted for 3 years in a row. I would like to know why the road has not been gazetted as at now.
Rueda, but you guys, you MPs also be fair to the minister. He's come with answers on questions that were asked. Now we are springing questions from every part of the country. But go ahead.
Asante Speaker. Ni vile mwakilishi wa wananchi na wakituona hapa leo tuko hatujauliza, tukienda huko tutakuwa tuna shida. Mwanzo nimpongeze waziri. Waziri ni muungwana sana. Tukienda ofisi yake tunapokelewa vizuri. Nataka tu waziri ajue kwamba Lamu Mashariki nafikiri ndio eneo bunge peke yake Kenya haina hata inchi moja ya barabara ya lami. Hata inchi moja hakuna. Na barabara zetu za Lamu Mashariki ni 3. Ni Mtangawanda tu Kizingitini, ambayo hiyo najua mwaijua. Naomba tafadhali muhakikishe mtuambie zimefikia vipi mikakati yake. Angalau na sisi tuwe tuna lami. Barabara ya pili ni kuanza Hindi tu Kiunga, ambayo ni kilomita kama 120. Hiyo barabara sahihi haipitiki kabisa kwa sababu ya wale wahalifu wanaeka IDs. Sasa imefungwa kabisa. Ward 2 Lamu Mashariki huwezi kupitia hiyo barabara mpaka upitie bahari. Sasa imefungwa, imekuwa lazima uende na boat, na saa nyingine bahari ni shida sana. Kwa hivyo naomba tu waziri alifikirie, kama hana majibu lakini afikirie hata pale pabaya tu kutengeneze kidogo ili barabara ifunguke. Nasikia pesa ilipewa Mchina iko, atafute tu, na kama insecurity si shida, KDF wako tayari, wanafanya kazi vizuri, wanapeana security. Kama imeshindikana kwa ministry, wapewe KDF wafanye ili barabara ifunguke.
Asante sana. Give her.
Bwana Speaker, kwetu Lamu Mashariki mazingira tofauti. Sisi maeneo yetu sio ile nyinyi mnaita land mass, sisi ni water mass. Sasa kwetu zaidi kwa ministry yenu pia tunahitaji sea wall, yani zile ukuta za bahari. Sasa kuna kijiji kinaitwa Mbwajumali, karibu kinabebwa na bahari chote, watoto wanabebwa, na kilijengwa kidogo, contractor hakumaliza kakimbia. Tafadhali iko pia kwa ministry yako, mtu angalilie. Asante bwana.
Aichumu Gichimu, member for Gishugu.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Speaker. The people that I represent of Gishugu find themselves in a situation akin to Honorable Basil's. And I don't want to go to because the minister or the CS has already given an elaborate plan on how to revive the roads that have already stalled. But my question is, are those roads that have already been contracted, are you able, just like many other areas that you've said, in Gishugu, to see to it that they are also motorable by grading and marraming? Because when these matters are scheduled for tarmacking through the normal CARA funds, mostly they are omitted because they've already been contracted for tarmacking. So actually, it's an area that you need to talk to the contractor. And if you have these plans, and you are saying soon, why don't you then talk to the contractors to go back on site, have an agreement with them that in 10 or 5 or whatever period, you'll be able to start paying them so that they can resume work, and our constituencies will actually benefit from these roads that have stalled for many years. Thank you.
Ms. Shimbogo, these are general questions.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
So you should give a general policy direction.
Mheshimiwa Spika, napenda kumpongeza waziri na nimuulize swali la kivuko cha feri ya Mtongwe. Kivuko cha feri ya Mtongwe kiliweza kusitishwa kufanya huduma zake kwa wakazi wa Likoni. Na hivi sasa tukiangalia kivuko cha Likoni kumekuwa na msongamano mkubwa sana, hata kumekuwa na hatari kubwa sana za maajali. Ukiangalia Mheshimiwa Spika, hivi sasa tutakuwa na michezo ile ya Yala
ambayo inakuja katika sehemu ya Mombasa. Namuuliza waziri, ni mikakati gani ambayo tutaweka ili tuweze kupunguza ule msongamano, kwa sababu kivuko cha Mtongwe kilikuwa kinapunguza msongamano wa abiria na kilikuwa kinasaidia sana. Na wakati kulikuwa na kile kivuko cha kuolea, kile tulikuwa tunaita Kiingereza floating bridge, pia kilikuwa kinasaidia. Na hivyo vyote vimeondolewa na hivi sasa kumekuwa na shida na kumekuwa na msongamano mbaya sana mpaka kuleta hatari za ajali nyingi. Swali lingine la mwisho ni barabara ya Dongo Kundu, ambayo tunashukuru serikali wameng'ang'ana kutengeza barabara hii na imebakia hatua kidogo sana iweze kufunguliwa rasmi na Mheshimiwa Rais Daktari William Ruto. Lakini katika barabara hiyo kuna hatari, kuna mwanya ambao umewachwa wazi, na juzi tumempoteza kijana aliweza kutumbukia kwa sababu barabara hiyo iko juu na chini ni bahari. Kijana alitumbukia na kuweza kupoteza maisha yake. Tunakuomba waziri uangalie swala hilo ili hii barabara iweze kumalizwa, rais afungue rasmi na zile hatari za kupoteza maisha ya wale wanaotumia barabara hiyo iweze kuzingatiwa. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Waziri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I was actually not going to ask a question because I thought that when there are questions, you respond to the very specific one. Nonetheless, because I'm seeing that the questions are also taking on policy direction.
Justem generis.
Thank you. I do appreciate, Mr. Speaker, because I think you understand, having served in the House, that members have needs in the constituency. I want to ask a question which is similar to what the Honorable Fogishugo has raised. And for me, it's really a policy issue that when you have commenced construction and then you stop because of lack of funds, it shouldn't be within the charity of the minister, but a policy issue in the ministry that you must allocate funds. Like right now, the road between Sindo and Bita is actually only about 2-3 kilometers. I was there last week, but you spend almost 1 hour because they actually messed up the road. We cannot allocate it in Kura. But when this young man called Morara wants to attack, he goes to my constituency, even though he went on the Karoli side. But because maybe Karoli is still relatively new, he was attacking me, saying, Millie, what are you doing? I'm not the one doing those roads. It's the national government. But because we are not assigning money for routine maintenance, what is the policy of the ministry? And if you don't have a policy, can you come up with a policy for just regular maintenance so that it's not dependent on police, on charity of a given CS, but it's a given that it must be allocated. Even if you want to do that road right now, I can't do anything. And it's a small portion that we can do with the care.
Thank you. Betsimba.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kunipa fursa.
Minister, you will compress all this into a policy direction.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kunipa fursa ya kuweza kuuliza swali la ziada. Je, waziri anaufahamu barabara katika eneo bunge la Kisauni ambayo imeanza Kiembeni ipitie Mwakirunge kwenda Rabai? Na Mheshimiwa Rais alikuja kuanzisha rasmi barabara hiyo inayojengwa na Kera. Alipoondoka Mheshimiwa Rais, matingatinga yote yaliondoka yakamfuata. Anazo habari hizo na ana mipango gani kuweza kuendeleza hiyo barabara badala ya kumwekea aibu Mheshimiwa Rais?
Thank you. Let's have answers to those.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, honorable members. I think Honorable Millie summarized it very well that we should have a policy framework on how to deal with roads which have been contracted and ensure that we do allocate funds so that those roads are not stranded, even for the purpose of motorability. I want to state here, honorable members, that I'll work very closely with the House to ensure that when we run our budgets, we do ensure that we give priority to ongoing projects. We do some parity and equitable distribution of resources, and that with the kind of data that is available in roads, we should be able to do that together. With respect to really the challenge that we've had for a long time on bending bills, the support that we've received from this House on the 7 shillings additional road maintenance levy, and which I have confirmed we are fairly advanced in securitizing to ensure that we raise some 170, 175 billion Kenya shillings, we should be able to get all contractors back to work. But more importantly, even as we do that, and because there is a really, you can have sight of the entire runway on this particular project, we will push the contractors to make the roads motorable. Talking to a road like Sindom Bita, I want to confirm merely that that particular road will now not stop. We are working on it. I don't know, but majorly because we are raising the funds to pay all the contractors. We had a bending bill on that road of about 540 million Kenya shillings on certificates issued, but there was only an allocation of 270 million. Having paid the full amount, you can see the contractor still with a hole of 300 million, but I've equally had a meeting with civil engineering construction company, the same company that did the road from Kwale Kinango, and I can assure us that because of what we are doing on securitization, a lot of contractors are seeing some hope, and we are able to get a number of them back to work. So a road like Sindo Mbita, I can assure honorable members, just to pick one, that it will not stop. With respect to Gishugu, Banagishimo, we will, like I've said, maintain. We are seeking to ensure that the contractors make the roads motorable. Traditionally, contractors should provide a road for users during construction. So we cannot be constructing a road, leaving heaps of soils. We then abandon works because of non-payment, and we leave the road not motorable. So we are going to, it's an agenda. I gave the example of Kinango Kwale, where we made the road really good on Moram, so that as they work on the tarmacking, and even albeit the challenge of pending bills and payments, the road or the users of the Kenyans users do not face that challenge. Honorable John Mutunga, I want to confirm, like when we met, that we're going to address the various challenges on the road programs in the country. We have built a good database that can help us to work together with the House to ensure that we do have a very amicable way of allocating funds to ongoing projects, to roads across the whole country with some level of equity. Captain Ruwaida, thank you for congratulating me, equally to a number of members who have congratulated me today. I want to confirm that we'll work very closely together. Mtakawanda Road to Kisingitini, we'll tender it next week. We'll put it to tender next week. With respect to, I'm just saying, I mean, there's a lot of tendering happening next week. With respect to, I think I mentioned Tigania West for John. With respect to, what was the other, Tharakanithi Bridge, I want to confirm we are all concerned about this Tharakanithi Bridge, and we are paying a lot of attention. We have installed a lot of bumps or humps on the road. We have installed signage, and we'll continue to improve. We have separated the uplink traffic from the downlink traffic. We are in the process of finalizing the redesign for the new bridge, which is currently ongoing, and we will put funds. You are aware that leadership at every level has made commitment to correcting Nithi Bridge. We don't like the name Killer Bridge. We should get it back to Nithi Bridge. And so we are paying attention to that. Our potholes on this road that is complicated and that we have had to assign or give to so many contractors, Matu, Ikalagala, I want to confirm that we will work on the potholes. Like I've said, we'll make the roads motorable. And with the 4 or 5 contractors on site, the issue of pending bills and the fundraising we are doing through securitization, we are going to pay attention and ensure that these small sections with all these contractors, Sifel, Kito, Usongiro, and so on and so forth, address and do what they are supposed to do. The floating bridge in, where is this? In Mutongwe. We removed the floating bridge in Mutongwe because it had its own challenges. We know the challenges we are facing with the Likoni ferry, but luckily, Mishimbogo, we are finalizing the Dongokundu Kibundani road, which is basically finished. I think we are almost seeking a date for official commissioning of that road, and we will move most of the traffic. We'll work together with the leadership. I was in Mombasa last week, and we had a session with the governor for Mombasa, Abdul Swamad, and we want to work together to see how to decongest Likoni ferry, how to even provide some land around the ferry as a holding ground, which I do know that Kenya Railways did lease out to some other investor, and we are working to address that small challenge. So, honorable members, let me just say that allow us to work in another 1-2 months, max 3 months, to sort out the pending bills through securitization of the 7 shillings. I want to thank the House, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, for the support we have received in the securitization process. This will go a long way in sorting out the pending bills, which amounts to about 174 billion today. And we can get all the contractors back to work. We'll be more cautious, we'll be more careful to ensure that we do not get into that situation by assigning new projects where there is no revenue or investments or cash flow to support maturing work certificates. So, honorable members, thank you for your support. I will continue to receive you to address the specific roads in the various counties in this great country. I will continue to receive you in my office as I continue to learn. Today, I'm just 90 days in office, and I think I was asking myself what I will possibly have to say on the 100th day, but we'll continue to work together. Thank you very much.
Honorable members, we've done 3 hours on question time. I want the question by Sarah Korere to be the last for today, and invite the minister to be back here in 2 weeks to answer the remaining questions. So Sarah Korere, ask your question. That will be the last for today. And Sarah, before you ask, take your seat. Members, tomorrow, Malulu, your question will come after 2 weeks. All of you who are on the order paper, we have bills also to deal with. And I think we have extracted sufficient material from the minister today. He will be back here in 2 weeks. Before Sarah Korere asks the question, tomorrow we have a Kamkunji at 11. All of you and those who are not here be here for that Kamkunji. And ministers, you go to answer the last question. Remember to remain engaged with the Baraki Club for Yala Games. Sarah Korere.
Thank you, Speaker. I rise to ask question number 127 of 2024. Can the minister state the reasons for delay in completion of construction works on Doldol Nanyuki Road in Laikipia North constituency? Number 2, state when the ministry intends to complete construction works. And 3, provide details of the outstanding payments, if any, to the constructor on the scope of works for construction on the said road.
Minister.
Thank you again, honorable members. Thank you, Mheshimiwa Korere. Let me go straight to and acknowledge the delay in completion of the road, of the said road, Doldol Nanyuki, in Laikipia constituency, which has been caused by non-performance by the contractor who was engaged to do the works. Shipili Enterprise Limited has been slow in the process, and we have had several meetings in order to engage him to expedite the works. Honorable members, I did have a meeting about this with Sarah Korere, and we are working on how to ensure that we accelerate that work and even provide enough funds to address the pending bill that we did see on this particular road. 2 management meetings have been held with the contractor in which they were asked to go back to site and resume works. However, they have not heeded the call, and so the employer will seek recourse on the next step of action according to the contract terms. The scope included the following: site clearance to include heavy bush clearing, tree and stump removals, evacuation and filling for structures, culverts and drainage works to include majorly new culverts installation, grading and graveling works to include light grading of the whole section and then spot graveling. Road furniture repairs maintenance to include installation of 20 in number concrete bollards. The contractor has no outstanding payment. Sorry, I did indicate that they had outstanding payment. I think the point was the funds allocated to the road is something that we discussed with Mheshimiwa, and Mheshimiwa, we need to have another cup of tea. Thank you. As regarding the Mbaraki Stadium, honorable members, I have worked very closely with Mheshimiwa Osoro and Faith Gitau, Mheshimiwa, and Mbaraki progress today is 80% complete. We have challenges, small challenges on the sitting area and the common amenities like toilets and the changing rooms. I want to confirm that as of yesterday, I did hold a meeting and we are looking at NYS moving in to do most of the handiworks. Kenya Power supporting us in doing most of the lighting, but I want to confirm that the tartan is the asphalt, the tarmacking of the places that needed to be asphalt, and the tartan to be installed will be shipped and it will come in on time and the stadium will be ready. We are also looking at the other gymnasium stadium to ensure where the other indoor games will be, and we did yesterday give an indicative budget approval to ensure that we are able to run through the coming 3 weeks and make the facility ready so that our parliament can host the East African Legislative Assemblies with a better dignity than we have been hosted in the other countries. So I'm on top of it with Bwana Osoro, with Gitau there, and thank you for your support. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Sarah Korere. Do you have a supplementary?
Thank you, Speaker. And Speaker, I want to acknowledge indeed that the Cabinet Secretary has himself taken up the issue and called me severally about the road. But again, CS, I want to inform you and plead with you with a lot of humility that the people of Laikipia North are suffering, untold suffering, because of the status of that road. Waziri, just the other day we lost 2 people who were shot by bandits, not very serious gunshot wounds, but wounds that would have been saved if they would have reached Nanyuki in good time. But because of the status of that road, they couldn't. It is also clear that Shibili Construction Company does not have the capacity to go back to that site. So the earlier you expedite the process of
we're bringing an alternative person, the better for us. Again, on the 0 kilometer of that road, because that contract, I think, covers 15 kilometers, there is a place that Kenya is taking care of. And they brought on site a company called Nexotech, which was supposed to do some emergency works. That contractor reported for 3 days and disappeared. So you wonder what emergency work is when there is no emergency work. Actually, the people, the road users, took it upon themselves to construct that road using their own resources, their own hands, while we know Kenya has given somebody a contract and that contractor has disappeared. I've called the regional engineer for Upper Eastern several times, and he himself confesses to me that the contractor cannot even pick his calls. So, you know, we are just left as lame ducks. You don't know what you are waiting for. Again, in Laikipia North CS, Laikipia North is the biggest constituency. It is bigger than Laikipia East and Laikipia West combined. There is no road network. The road that connects Timao, Lokusero, all the way to the constituency headquarters at Doldol is completely washed out. It is a road that is under Kenya in the Upper Eastern. Waziri, we need, if nothing else, we just need some first aid, because that road goes through Mgogodo Forest. We know the history of Mgogodo Forest and banditry and insecurity, so it is a very critical security road. For the Doldol Nanyuki Road, I appreciate that even His Excellency the President is so committed to see that road constructed. And Waziri, you know, for the first time, if that road is constructed, the people of Laikipia North will feel that independence has actually come to Laikipia North.
Honorable Cabinet Secretary, I'll give the next speaker, and then after that we can close. So the Honorable Member for Chesumei, you're the one who's going to say something, but hold on. What's your point of order, Honorable Junet? We are not giving we're not taking any more supplementary questions. You have come in too late. So Honorable Member for Chesumei.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity, and I rise to ask the CS what the ministry is doing to ensure that the contractor assigned to Danger Chemuswa Road, which has not only stalled, but there is no maintenance ahead of works in that particular road, and that road is not passable and not motorable at all. And that road, when I CS, was launched actually way back in 2016 by the Uhuru government, and up to now it has not taken off. There is also a road, Chepterit Chepkober Kaiboi, which is on Kenya, that has also stalled, and apart from it being stalled, there was maintenance ahead of works on that road, but the contractor decided to just take the machines midway and say that he doesn't have enough money for that road. Baraton's Moka Mobo Road under Kura is another concern on a CS. That road is around 8 kilometers, and we had agreed actually you were being allocated 1 kilometer every year, but for the last 2 years that road has also stalled, and now there is no maintenance on the remaining part of the road, which is impassable. Lastly, there are 2 bridges CS, and those ones have caused fatal accidents. People were buried the other day on the Makonge Baraton Bridge, which right now is very, very dangerous and impassable, and I don't know what the ministry is doing about it. And another one called Samo Kamurgiwa Bridge, amongst many of those bridges. Lastly, there's a road which had been allocated funds on GOK called Kaptel Chomisia, which we had asked for funds when the previous minister was in office. Actually, it took time, and the other day it was awarded, but the works have not started. The only problem is that road took too long until there was a CSR from Kipchabo Tea Estate. That road right now is motorable and good, but there's an adjacent road which is very bad, and we had requested the RD to change or to do something so that we do not waste the taxpayers' money, and it seems they are saying that their hands are tight. So why would we actually lose money on the road of Kaptel, Chomisia, while there's an adjacent road that is not good, and this one else has been done? So please intervene. Thank you so much.
Okay, Honorable Cabinet Secretary, I think those are the last questions. I think that Honorable Marianne Aldai, I think already the substantive speaker has already ruled that that was going to be the last intervention. All other questions will be brought up in 2 weeks' time when the Cabinet Secretary comes to the House. I think that was the agreement. Proceed, Waziri.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Because these are substantive questions, let me beg to come with comprehensive answers in the next sitting within 2 weeks. But for Mheshimiwa Paul Biegon's question, the challenge on Danger Chemuswa, I think Chepterit Keses, is it Lesos, that junction C36, Mo University, which is also with China Railway number 10. If you took time to look at the appropriation, you'll realize that the bending bill on this road is, I've just checked quickly, and the bending bill is at 734 million Kenya shillings, 734.3 million Kenya shillings. We only appropriated 91.3 million. So even after paying the 91, which we haven't paid because of exchequer release, but we are working on that, we'll still have a 600 million plus. We've taken it as a road of interest, and we are trying to get the contractor back to site. In fact, this is why I was saying that this contractor partly last week. He has undertaken that if we pay him another 300 million Kenya shillings, he should be able to resume work and accelerate work, because with means, and he has got many other contracts across the country. We are to ensure that in the next few days he's back at work. So we are working on his payments. We want to make sure that we bring down that pending bill even ahead of the securitization funding. We'll bring that pending bill down by about 50% and get him back to work. For the other detailed questions, allow me to come with detailed answers as we continue to work together. And I think even in 2 weeks, I would probably be reporting how far we are on the securitization and getting all the contractors back to work, ensuring that, first and foremost, all the roads are motorable, so that even when they down the tools, they do not really hold us at ransom. Honorable members, let me thank the House for the engagement this afternoon and commit that I will do my best to ensure that we do provide infrastructure that will support the economy in terms of movement of goods and movement of people in the way modern economies do provide infrastructure for their population. Thank you.
Thank you, Cabinet Secretary. I think you may take your leave. Honorable members, I think we'll move to the next order.
Order number 9, the Cooperatives Bill, National Assembly Bill number 7 of 2024, second reading.
Honorable Osorom, you may proceed.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Cooperative Bill 2024 be read for the second time. Honorable Speaker, the bill as presented before this House seeks to provide for a legal framework that promotes a sustainable and competitive cooperative sector for socio-economic development in a devolved system of governance, and also to give effect, effect to Article 186 and the 4th schedule to the Constitution. The bill, Honorable Speaker, also seeks to promote uniform norms and standards in the registration, regulation, supervision, and management of cooperatives, and also establish a framework for constitution and cooperatives among counties. Honorable Speaker, this bill further seeks to establish the Office of the Commission or Commissioner for Cooperative Development at the national level, and the Office of the County Director for Cooperatives at the county level, and also it provides the intergovernmental cooperative relations. Honorable Speaker, the Office of the Commissioner for Cooperative Development will be responsible for the promotion, registration, and regulation of cooperatives and provide for the intergovernmental cooperative relations. Honorable Speaker, this bill further seeks to introduce the cooperatives 4-tier structure that composes of A, the primary cooperatives, B, the secondary cooperatives, C, the cooperative federations, and D, Apex cooperative, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as you are aware, the cooperative sector is very critical in the societal or socio-economic development in the country, and the realization of the government's objective of bringing down the cost of living, eradicating hunger, creating jobs, expanding the tax base, improving foreign exchange and balance, and inclusive growth. Honorable Speaker, the significant benefits that have accrued to Kenyans through the cooperatives include employment and wealth creation. And besides, the traditional areas of agriculture production, processing and marketing, the strength of cooperatives is currently felt in several areas, Honorable Speaker, and they include the finance, the real estate, the value addition, education, health, transport. You all see SACCOs and cooperative societies in the matatu industry, mining, and several other commercial activities. Honorable Speaker, as we move this, it's important to also highlight the content of the bill as drafted, Honorable Speaker. The bill has 168 clauses that are divided into 17 parts and 3 schedules. Part 1 of the bill, which of course comprises of clause 1 to 5 of the bill, provides for the preliminary matters, including the short title of the bill, and it also provides for the interpretation of terms used in the bill and the object of the act. It also provides for the guiding principles in the implementation of the act and the application of the act. Part 2, Honorable Speaker, which starts from clause 6 to 18 of the bill, provides for the establishment of the offices and administration of the act. It establishes offices in 3 divisions, Honorable Speaker. Division 1 relates to the national government offices, wherein it establishes the office of the Commissioner for Cooperative Development and provides for the staff of the office of the Commissioner. It also makes provision for a vacancy in the office of the Commissioner, the functions of the Commissioner, and provides for annual reports by the Commissioner. Division 2, Honorable Speaker, relates to the county government offices. It establishes the office of the county director for cooperatives and provides for the staff of the office of the county director for cooperatives. It also makes provision for the vacancy in the office of the county director for cooperatives, the functions of the county director for cooperatives, and provides for the annual report by the county director for cooperatives, Honorable Speaker. And finally, Division 3 of that very particular section relates to the Intergovernmental Cooperatives Relations Technical Forum, and also establishes the Intergovernmental Cooperatives Relations Technical Forum and provides for its functions and meetings. Part 3, Honorable Speaker, starts from clause 19 to clause 27 of the bill, provides for the structure of cooperatives in Kenya. It establishes a 4-tier structure which provides for the primary cooperatives, as we had earlier said, secondary cooperatives, cooperative federation, and an apex cooperative. It sets out the types of primary cooperatives that may be registered and prohibits multiple objects in primary cooperatives, Honorable Speaker. It also provides for the objects of secondary cooperatives and the objects of cooperative federations. It provides for registration and subscription to the apex cooperative and the role and functions of the cooperative, of the apex cooperative, Honorable Speaker. This very particular clause, part, which is part 3, Honorable Speaker, provides for the annual reports of the apex cooperative and registration, regulation, and cooperatives of operations of the apex cooperative, Honorable Speaker. Part 6 of the total of the bill, Honorable Speaker, starts from clause 28 to 43 of the bill, and it provides for registration of cooperatives. It includes the procedure for registration, restriction of registration of cooperatives within the same common bond, and limitation on names of cooperatives, Honorable Speaker. It also provides for the registration of cooperative and its bylaws and a certificate of registration as evidence of registration, Honorable Speaker. This very particular part, part 4, provides for the requirement to display a cooperative certificate of registration and change of name or loss of the certificate, Honorable Speaker. It further makes provision for the deeming of a cooperative as a body, corporate, and prohibition against dual registration as well as amendment of bylaws. Provides for the binding effects of the bylaws of a particular of a cooperative and for appeals against refusal to register. This part 4, Honorable Speaker, further provides for the presumption of the signature by the commissioner, the protection of cooperative identity, and for the protection and restriction on the use of the name SACCO. It also provides for the mandatory uses of names in certain cooperatives. Part 5, Honorable Speaker, has clause 44, starts from clause 44 to clause 51, Honorable Speaker. It provides for the rights and liabilities of members, Honorable Speaker. This includes qualification for membership, who qualifies to be a member, limitation of holding share capital, exercise of members' rights, limitation of membership to producer cooperatives, voting rights of members, transfer of shares, rights of members, and the obligation of a member, Honorable Speaker. Part 6, Honorable Speaker, comprises or starts from clause 52 to 56 of the bill, and it provides for the duties of cooperatives. It requires that every cooperative to have a registered address in Kenya and to also keep a copy of the act and the bylaws at its registered office, Honorable Speaker. It also provides for estimates of income expenditure, accounts and audits, and production of books and other documents by the cooperatives, Honorable Speaker. Part 7, Honorable Speaker, starts or has with Part 7 of the bill, Honorable Speaker, which starts from clause 57 to 66, provides for governance of cooperatives, Honorable Speaker. It includes provisions on general meetings, special general meetings, presiding at general meetings, the use of physical or virtual or hybrid general meetings, and the delegate system of representation. This very part, Honorable Speaker, also provides for membership and powers of the board, eligibility for the creation of a supervisory board, and its duties, as well as the nomination committee, Honorable Speaker. Part 8, Honorable Speaker, which starts from clause 67 to 68 of the bill, provides for the amalgamation and division of cooperatives. This part outlines the procedures for the amalgamation, generally, and the division of cooperatives, Honorable Speaker. Part 9 of this bill, Honorable Speaker, starts from clause 69 to 80, Honorable Speaker, of the bill. And what it does, Honorable Speaker, it provides for the rights and obligations of the cooperatives, Honorable Speaker, and permits a cooperative to enter into a charge of a member's produce and to fine a member for violation of bylaws. It also provides for fast charge over debts and assets of a member and the fast charge over member shares. You know, this is usually a very important clause, Honorable Speaker, because it provides for the fast charge over debts and assets of a member and fast charge over member shares. It also makes provision for an employer's failure to remit the sum deducted from an employee. Honorable Speaker, it also provides for prohibition against attachment of member shares, the rights of withdrawing from membership, and the liability of past and deceased members. Honorable Speaker, it further provides for the transfer of shares of interest of deceased members and the evidence of members' interest in cooperatives and restriction of cooperation on production of cooperative books, Honorable Speaker. Part 10 of this particular bill, Honorable Speaker, starts from clause 81 to 89 of the bill, and it provides for property and funds of cooperatives, Honorable Speaker. It provides for how the property and the funds of a cooperatives are to be applied. It also provides for the restriction on giving loans and borrowing, as well as investment of a cooperative's funds, Honorable Speaker. This particular part, Honorable Speaker, makes provision declaration and payment of bonuses, the maintenance of a reserve fund, and the distribution of net balance. And it also provides for investment in non-core activities and investment in companies, Honorable Speaker. Part 11 of this particular bill, Honorable Speaker, starts from clause 90 to 98. Clause 90 to 98 of the bill, and it provides for changes by cooperatives. Charges by cooperatives. It provides for the creation of charges over cooperative property, compliance of charges with applicable law, the registration of charges by the commissioner, and for the register of charges. It also makes provision for the issuance of satisfaction of charges and for the requirement for the receiver to give notice of appointment to the commissioner, Honorable Speaker. It further makes a provision for the requirement of a cooperative to keep a copy of instruments of charge at registered office and for the register of particulars of charges, Honorable Speaker. It further provides for the right of members and creditors to inspect the register of charges. Part 12, Honorable Speaker, of this bill starts from clause 99 to clause 105. 99 to 105, Honorable Speaker. Remember we said that, clause 99 to 105, sorry, of the bill. It provides, Honorable Speaker, this particular part provides for inquiry, inspection, and surcharges. Honorable Speaker. It provides for, this bill, Honorable Speaker, further provides for the power to surcharge officers of a cooperative, appeal against a surcharge order, and the recovery of a surcharge, Honorable Speaker. It further provides for the inspection of books of an indebted cooperative, the expenses of, I hope we are safe, Honorable Speaker. I hope I am safe. I don't know whether.
Yeah, you're safe. So far, so good. You're safe. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry about the third and whatever fell in there.
Yeah, I thought.
It's not anything that should worry you.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable
Speaker.
Thank you. Yeah. So this particular part 12, Honorable Speaker, further provides for the inspection of books of an indebted cooperative, the expenses of inquiry and inspection and routine inspection, Honorable Speaker. Part 13, Honorable Speaker, starts from clause 106 to 117, Honorable Speaker. And it provides for the dissolution of cooperatives. This includes the procedure for dissolution, the cancellation of registration, effects of cancellation, and it makes provision for the liquidation of a cooperative society, of a cooperative whose registration is cancelled, Honorable Speaker. It also makes provision for the appointment of a liquidator in case of such matters arising, and the qualification of a liquidator, the powers of a liquidator, and the making of a liquidation account of cooperatives, Honorable Speaker. It sets out the powers of the commissioner during liquidation. It further, Honorable Speaker, provides for appeals against an order of the liquidator or commissioner, enforcement of orders, and outlines offenses relating to liquidation of a cooperative, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, Part 14 of the bill. Part 14 of the bill. Remember, I had Part 14 starts from clause 118 to 123. As I said earlier, the bill has 168 clauses. So Part 14 has clause 118 to 123, and it provides for special powers of the cooperative tribunal to set aside certain transactions. It provides for the power of the cooperative tribunal to set aside transactions that are undervalued, the power to void preference, and provides the meaning of the term relevance, and the meaning of the term relevant time used in clause 118 and 119 of the bill. It also makes further provisions for orders under clause 118 and 119, ancillary provisions, Honorable Speaker. It further provides for the power of the cooperative tribunal to set aside certain extortionate transactions and outline the circumstances in which a floating charge on a cooperative undertaking or property may be invalid, Honorable Speaker. Part 15 of this bill, Honorable Speaker, provides for starts from clause 124 to 146 of the 168 clauses. And this particular part, Honorable Speaker, provides for settlement of disputes. It establishes the cooperative tribunal and provides for the appointment of its members, Honorable Speaker. It also sets out the remuneration and term of office for members of the tribunal, of cooperative tribunal, and further for the gazettement of members of the tribunal when a vacancy in the office of the tribunal may arise, Honorable Speaker. It further provides for the jurisdiction of the tribunal, registries, sittings, and proceedings of the tribunal, Honorable Speaker. And it further provides for orders by the tribunal and general offenses at the tribunal, and grants the tribunal unlimited geographical and pecuniary jurisdiction. Unlimited geographical and pecuniary jurisdiction in matters cooperative dispute, Honorable Speaker. It provides for the quorum, Honorable Speaker, and benches of the tribunal, conflict of interest, and voting at the tribunal, Honorable Speaker. It further provides that the powers of the chairperson may be exercised by the vice chairperson and for the appeals to the High Court from the tribunal, Honorable Speaker. This part also, Honorable Speaker, provides for the chairperson's power to appoint a cooperative assessor at the tribunal and for the contempt of the tribunal. It further provides for the appointment of the deputy registrar of the tribunal and the rights or the right of parties before the tribunal, Honorable Speaker. And finally, on this particular part, Honorable Speaker, it provides for the immunity of officers of the tribunal and for the alternative dispute mechanism at the tribunal, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, Part 16 starts from Clause 147 to 162 of the bill and contains general provisions, and this further, of course, provides for procurement and disposal in cooperatives, enforcement of ethics and integrity in cooperatives, cooperative self-regulation, credit information sharing, intercooperative borrowing, cooperative capital raising instruments, remuneration to officers and members of a cooperative, Honorable Speaker. This particular part, Honorable Speaker, further establishes the cooperative, the Cooperative Development Fund and delegates to the Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Speaker, the power to make regulations, Honorable Speaker. This particular bill, or this particular part, Honorable Speaker, further provides for the powers of the Cabinet Secretary and the County Executive Committee member, other powers of the Commissioner, and the powers of the County Director for Cooperatives, Honorable Speaker. It further outlines the offenses, then provides for the distinction of cooperatives from trade unions, and sets out a general penalty for offenses, Honorable Speaker. The final part of this bill, Honorable Speaker, is Part 17, Honorable Speaker, which starts from clauses 163 to 168, Honorable Speaker, of the bill, and it provides for transitional provisions. It proposes the repeal of the Cooperative Societies Act, which is number 12 of 1997, and the amendment of the Public Officer Ethics Regulation of 2003, number 6 of 2003, Honorable Speaker. It also provides for transition to the Office of the Commissioner and County Director for Cooperatives and the enactment of County Assembly legislation, Honorable Speaker. It provides for the transition of the members of and proceeding before the Cooperative Tribunal, as well as the transition of notices, the orders, directions, and appointments, Honorable Speaker. And then finally, Honorable Speaker, we get to the schedule. The schedule, Honorable Speaker, the first schedule outlines the procedure of liquidation of cooperatives under Clause 109. The second schedule, Honorable Speaker, outlines the preferential debts in relation to the payment of debts for a cooperative under liquidation. While the very final one, Honorable Speaker, the third schedule, outlines offenses relating to conduct before and during liquidation and criminal proceedings relating to other offenses under Clause 117, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, it's important for honorable members to know the aims and purpose of this bill. After highlighting what the entire bill provides for, Honorable Speaker, it's important for members to know that the very first part of the bill aims to update Kenya's cooperative sector, which is introduction, framework, aligning it with modern socio-economic and governance structure as envisioned by the Constitution, Honorable Speaker. By doing so, it intends to further socio-economic development within a developed system, Honorable Speaker. The core objective of the bill, Honorable Speaker, seeks to propose the establishment of both the national level, Commissioner for Cooperative Development, and the county level, Honorable Speaker, of county directors, cooperatives, Honorable Speaker, with each office promoting intergovernmental cooperative relations, Honorable Speaker. And the legal consistency, Honorable Speaker, of this particular bill is rooted in Article 186 of the Constitution and is part of the broader national cooperative policy. Its intent, Honorable Speaker, is to harmonize cooperative governance across counties and also ensures uniform standards while respecting devolution, Honorable Speaker. There are key committee observations that arose during the formation of this bill, Honorable Speaker. Clarity on cooperative structure. That is one. The bill introduces a tied structure for cooperatives, or a tier structure of cooperatives, Honorable Speaker, which has now primary, secondary, federation, and an apex cooperative, Honorable Speaker, to streamline the operations and represent members of interests effectively at different levels, Honorable Speaker. The question of alignment with devolution also arose from the committees of observation, Honorable Speaker, and it emphasizes on cooperatives or cooperation between the national and county governments, which aligns, and it makes sure that it aligns with devolved governance structures or governance principles, empowering counties to participate in cooperative oversight and support, Honorable Speaker. It also, the observation also, Honorable Speaker, was on the enhanced governance and financial management, where the bill seeks to address governance challenges such as transparency, accountability, which also include the establishment of supervisory boards and nomination committees in cooperatives, Honorable Speaker. Now, the fourth point, Honorable Speaker, that should be very keen is addressing sectorial challenges or sectoral challenges, Honorable Speaker. Governance and financial resilience. The bill aims to improve the cooperative governance by embedding principles of transparency and strong financial oversight, thereby protecting members' investment, Honorable Speaker. Market access and capacity building is also another point, Honorable Speaker. And through clear operational structures, cooperatives, Honorable Speaker, will better access markets and resources. Enhanced training for cooperative members and leaders is also prioritized to elevate sector standards, Honorable Speaker. The fifth very vital point, Honorable Speaker, is the economic and social impact of this particular bill, Honorable Speaker. By empowering the local communities, the bill positioned to significantly benefit rural communities. And this is done by strengthening local cooperatives, thus contributing to job creation and economic empowerment at the grassroots, Honorable Speaker. And the long-term sustainability is also a very important virtue and factor in this bill. And the provisions in the bill, including the development of a cooperative development fund, aims at ensuring that cooperatives remain economically sustainable and environmentally responsible, Honorable Speaker. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, Honorable Speaker, it's important to inform members and notify members that the bill is very crucial for sustainable, competitive cooperative sector aligned with the national cooperative policy. And by passing this legislation, Honorable Speaker, the National Assembly will have supported a modern cooperative sector that upholds cooperative principles, strengthens economic inclusion, and fosters unity across Kenya, Honorable Speaker. So in conclusion, Honorable Speaker, I therefore request or wish to request the honorable members to support the bill so that we can have a comprehensive legal framework for promotion, for management, and regulation of cooperatives in Kenya in a devolved governance structure, Honorable Speaker. I therefore, Honorable Speaker, beg to move and ask the substantive leader now who is back in the House, the leader of majority, to second the bill. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Leader of majority.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And let me begin by thanking the Majority Whip for moving this bill on our behalf, and I rise to second. Honorable Speaker, as the Majority Whip has said, maybe even before I say what he has said, let me take this opportunity to thank the Honorable Marianne Ketanyi and the Committee on Trade, Industry and Cooperatives for the immense work they've put. Honorable Speaker, if you look at this bill, it's a bill that has over 168 clauses, Honorable Speaker, notwithstanding the schedule. Therefore, the committee did put in a lot of work to consider all these provisions clause by clause, and they tabled a report in this House yesterday, which I believe, as the Honorable Soro has pointed out, some of the observations the committee that did observe in their consideration of this bill. But it's an important bill, Honorable Speaker, because it is giving effect to Article 186 of our Constitution and Schedule 4 of the 2010 Constitution, Honorable Speaker. I know Article 186 set out the respective functions and powers of both the national and county governments. And you know, Honorable Speaker, the work of oversight of our cooperative societies was vested by the Constitution under Schedule 4 to our county governments. But the national government also has a huge responsibility. And therefore, part of what this bill is doing is to give effect to that, the provisions of the Article 186 and the fourth schedule of the Constitution, to ensure that there is uniformity in the standards and norms of how we register our cooperatives, how they are regulated, how they are supervised, and in the management of all these cooperatives, under a good framework and legal framework that will ensure that our cooperative societies, Honorable Speaker, because they are an important and integral part of the management of our economic affairs, especially from the grassroots, Honorable Speaker. Many of us, even in this House, are cooperators. In fact, this morning, Honorable Speaker, I had the opportunity over lunch to dash to Kitengela to see part of the good work being done by the Parliamentary Cooperative Society, PACOSO. And I know Bunge SACCO is also doing some good work. But that is a SACCO or a cooperative society by members of Parliament, the lawmakers. And I know many members are also members of cooperative societies back in our villages, whether they are producer cooperative societies, whether they are consumer cooperative societies. Many of us are members, and indeed we are confronted severally by constituents who have issues with the management and the running of their cooperative societies. Honorable Speaker, the members of the Trade and Industry Committee who engage with this bill will tell you that part and parcel of the problems that bedevil the coffee sector today is a poor management of our cooperative society, the coffee sector. And this bill has come now to fix those problems in management and governance of our cooperative societies. But be it as it may be, Honorable Speaker, because county governments, with the advent of the 2010 Constitution, were charged with the responsibility of registration of some of these cooperatives, many of them have allowed all manner of people to run cooperative societies, register cooperative societies. We have seen people being swindled of their hard earnings by societies that purport to be cooperative societies or SACCOs, and they are not, Honorable Speaker, because they lack a clear framework, a legal framework that would tell us how and who do you register to manage a cooperative society, what governance structures will be there to manage cooperative societies. This bill is coming to give effect to all those provisions, that the days of Ekeza SACCO will be forgotten, Honorable Speaker. We saw people in Kiambu and across the country being conned by someone calling himself a bishop, and he would use a church to mobilize people to join a SACCO called Ekeza, and eventually took off with their money. It was being sold as a saving society. At one point, it was a housing cooperative. It was a land buying cooperative. This bill, Honorable Speaker, now is categorizing the 4 tiers of cooperative societies that will be there and who